Is being a caregiver financially draining you? Are you looking for caregiver strategies to stop bankrupting your life? This is the video where I'm responding to caregivers' questions about how to manage through all of the difficulties of being a caregiver, including the personal and the financial costs. For many adult children, the idea of helping to care for aging parents and contributing to their care is accepted as a responsibility and a part of life. However, for an only child caregiver, a young caregiver who's building their career and working to be self-sufficient, or caregivers who have family, financially contributing to mom or dad's care can be draining and honestly potentially bankrupting. Not to mention all of the physical and the emotional stress which negatively and financially impacts a caregiver's health. In this video, I'm going to talk about two significant financial issues that bankrupt caregivers' lives that are rarely even considered until you're way at the other end of caregiving, looking back. My dad had a saying for issues that happened when he didn't take time to think through things or to be thorough. He would say to me, I don't know what I was thinking. What was I thinking? So as a caregiver, as an adult, as an aging adult, don't place yourself in the position where you look back 5 or 10 or 20 years from now and say, oh my gosh, what was I thinking because of the decisions that you made today? A 50-ish adult child asked me the other day when they should start talking to aging parents about money and caregiving and health. My answer to that caregiver, 20 or 30 years ago. If you don't want to struggle with financial issues, caregiving challenges, or health problems that negatively can affect your life, whether these relate to your parents or yourself, start these conversations today in your family. My experience doing this for 25 years as a caregiving expert confirms that these conversations rarely happen within families. Shocking, I know. Either parents don't want to have the discussions or adult children aren't prepared to talk about the reality of their parents' health declining and eventual death. Let's be honest, it's not a happy topic, but it's going to happen to all of us. These discussions, they're not selfish, they're not self-serving as some people might think. They're practical and they're realistic to help you avoid the unexpected problems and complications and potentially financial strains on your life. If it's way past time for this conversation in your family, stay with me all the way to the end of this video and then share it, especially if you've tried to have these conversations in your family and your siblings don't want to talk about it and your parents don't want to talk about it and maybe even your spouse doesn't want to talk about it. Let me have the conversation for you. Below this video, down below, there is a share button. You can share this video with other people. So stay with me while I share the two financial costs that can bankrupt your life, plus practical steps that anybody can take today to manage an elderly parent's expectations about the time and money you can contribute to their care. If this is your first time on my channel, I'm Pamela D. I'm a caregiving expert with 25 years of experience helping older adults and their caregivers work through the health, financial, and legal aspects of caregiving, including navigating family relationships and having these uncomfortable conversations. Please do. Click the items below, like this video, follow my channel, comment, even if it's only to say thank you. If you have a question or an idea for a future video, you can also post it below. Your likes, follows, and shares help these videos reach more people all over the world. So let's start with the biggest factor associated with caregiving for elderly parents that leads to costs for caregivers. It's time. It's loss of time. It's trading time in any part of your life that causes relationship breakdowns and financial harm. Believe it or not, time spent caring for an elderly parent translates to a financial cost for caregivers in more ways than one. Think of lost time as a lost opportunity. It's an opportunity cost. It's the time that you could be contributing to creating opportunities to improve your life, your relationships, your health, your well-being, investing in doing fun things that you actually enjoy. You can't get time back. Sometimes you can't get opportunities back. Some of these are time constrained or time limited, or there's a time to take advantage of it, and when that time passes, it's gone. With age, unlike when we are young in our 20s and 30s, when the time seems to move so slowly, the years pass more quickly with age. And do you really want to be in a position where you're regretting all of those things you wanted to do, but you didn't? Or you're regretting that you wanted to do all these things in retirement and you didn't? Financially bankrupting a caregiver's life results from time trading, and let's talk about relationship breakdowns, which can be significant. Because caregivers shift their focus to raising children and being caregivers, or caring for an elderly parent and being that caregiver. And sometimes they do this to the exclusion of all other relationships. That child, way up here. The parent, way up here. Everybody else, way down there. This has a cost. Time with a spouse or partner becomes less of a priority. What do you think happens? That causes a strain on a significant personal relationship. I've seen many caregivers of elderly parents divorce. Divorce places a financial strain on both partners when money and property has to be divided. Other partners and spouses, they hang in there until the kids are out of college, and then they divorce. Regardless of the reasons for divorce, caring for children or elderly parents, the financial aspects from this relationship breakdown are significant on the rest of your life. The rest of your life that you thought you would be doing things you enjoyed, but now you're not. Then let's look at the erosion and the breakdown of relationships with young or young adult children. Parent-child relationships early in life, they're one of the most important aspects of life. The relationship that a child has with their parent from a very early age has a significant lifelong impact on the child. For me, I was fortunate. I had amazing parents. They worked hard, they taught us values, they set boundaries. I am one of the fortunate ones. On the other hand, caregivers who didn't have a good relationship with a parent, or a parent who was loving, or maybe a parent had mental health issues or substance abuse issues, those caregivers are very aware of the effect of that not so good relationship with their parent had on their life. Now, the caregivers who had great relationships with their parents can sometimes not even imagine how someone could have a bad relationship with a parent or a bad parent. They have no idea how not having a good parent negatively affected these caregivers' lives. And so they criticize. They say, well, of course you should take care of your parent. It's your duty. It's your responsibility. How can you not do that? Well, I can tell you, adult children who didn't have a good relationship with their parents, they still may help that parent, but they don't like that parent. I talked to so many caregivers in this situation who had abusive parents, parents who criticized them, parents who had narcissistic tendencies. All of these issues affect these relationships. And if you're caring for a parent who wasn't a good parent to you, who you don't even like, well, that results in higher levels of emotional stress that does have a cost to the caregiver's health. Bad relationships can bankrupt a caregiver's health. If you're the caregiver and your other siblings have disappeared, do you ever wonder why they don't want to help? Maybe you should ask. You might be surprised that your brother or sister didn't have a good relationship with your mom or dad. Now, if you're sandwiched, you're caring for elderly parents over here and you're raising young children over here, consider the cost of time you spend caring for an aging parent versus the impact of not spending this time with your children. You can't get that back. Your kids don't reverse in age. They get older. The opportunity cost of not spending time with children is something that your spouse or your partner may not be able to make up for you not being there. Then there are opportunity costs with relationships with friends. Caregivers tell me they become friendless, isolated, because they can't spend time with their friends. Well, why not? Are you prioritizing time with your parents over the benefits gained from spending time with your friends and being happy? Close friendships, they take a significant amount of effort and time to build. Friendships are priceless. You will learn this more as you age. So similar to the relationships with your immediate family, do your best to maintain friend relationships. Now let's talk about the second issue, which is money. The opportunity cost related to time is the value of money. This one should be more obvious, but it's not. Why? Because it's women who typically give up jobs or decrease working hours to have and raise children. Because why? This is what society expects. This is what your culture expects. This is what you were trained to do from a young child. Fewer men have this experience. So men rarely consider the effect of this on their wives. Time out of the workforce to raise children. It's costly, depending on the length of time out of the workforce traded to caregive for children. The same applies to taking time out of the workforce to care for an aging parent or even a spouse. Let's look at the cost. Lost wages, lost income, lost time to build a career that you can never get back. Careers may be stalled. Time out of the workforce. It means loss of skills, your ability to plan and manage time and talk to people and all of that. It's the inability to keep up with ever-changing technology and the potential of reduced earnings. Are you going to be able to make what you made when you left the workforce 5 years ago? Questionable. Many caregivers for aging parents are middle-aged, although this is shifting as adults become sicker younger and their younger children are responsible for caring for parents in their 40s and 50s. Women who take time out to raise children, who re-enter the workforce after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they're middle-aged. That makes getting employed equally as difficult as a middle-aged caregiver for a parent. And not a lot of people are willing to discuss the fact that age-biased and caregiver job discrimination exists. It's real. It's researched. It's in documents. And truly, while employers are supposed to be non-biased, hiring managers whose lives are directly affected by the people they hire and they manage, they don't want to take on the personal problems of employees. Who would? Especially if this manager is on a career track and they want to get promoted and they don't have children or they haven't cared for a sick loved one. They have no understanding of what caregivers go through. And this isn't my opinion. It's researched fact. Google the John Hancock Caregiver Study or other caregiving studies by financial organizations like MetLife and Genworth and Merrill Lynch. There's plenty of facts out there. Taking time off work to care for an aging parent or a child can be viewed by employers as a lack of commitment to a career. If a person took time off work once, A hiring manager might wonder, well, what's going to prevent them from quitting the next time the family needs help? Caregivers can be viewed as less reliable and less motivated. It's not that you are, it's just that you have so many other distractions in your life. Your parents in the hospital, they're in the nursing home, you got to go to doctor appointments. It's hard to manage all of this and keep a job. So, before you make any changes in your job or your career to care for another person, consider the practicalities, the short and the long-term impact on your life that this decision will have on your ability to get promoted, get another job if you quit, the impact it'll have on your retirement savings and your ability to financially take care of yourself when you are your parents' age. And I know many caregivers, people say, oh, money shouldn't matter when it comes to taking care of family. Well, it does. What happens when you can't pay your rent or your mortgage or the electric bill or your health care needs? Who suffers then? The caregiver suffers. All those people who told you that money shouldn't matter or that you have a duty and a responsibility to care for your aging parents, where will they be then? Are they going to be offering you a place to live or offering to pay your bills? They're going to be long gone. They are not going to help you. You have to help yourself. And if you're young, the importance of saving for retirement, it might seem so far off when you're in your 20s and your 30s. But when you're in your 50s and 60s, it's right in front of you. Let me share some statistics from a 2024 Guardian study that might shock you, that hopefully will shock you into taking this seriously and having conversations in your family. In 2024, the average age for retirement was 62. And while you can start collecting Social Security at 62, that monthly benefit is significantly less than if you wait until 65 or 67 or 69. But here's the thing. The difference between when people think they're going to retire and when they actually retire is hugely impacted by, guess what? The unexpected hardships. 31% of people have a health problem or a disability that prevents them from continuing to work. And 32% just retire because of changes at their company. Maybe downsizing, outsizing, they want you to move. That means 63% of adults end up retiring 4 to 5 years earlier than they expected. What does that mean? It means that Social Security earnings way lower than they could have been. And they rarely keep up with increases in the cost of living. Ask any 80-year-old who didn't save for retirement and is living on a fixed budget what their life is like. Ask them what they worry about. You might be surprised. In this same study, over 25% of Americans over age 50 expect that they may never be able to retire. 1 in 4 of these people have no retirement, nothing saved for retirement. And a lot of these survey participants, they believe that they would need to work more years to feel financially secure. But remember, for 63% of the people, it doesn't work out this way. Health problems, disability, changes in companies force people to leave the workforce earlier. So if you're a caregiver and you think you've got a lot of time left to save and a lot of time to work, consider how these statistics might play out in your life. While you might be thinking of taking a few years off to raise children and then more years off to care for elderly parents, if you're not already financially set for the rest of your life, what could happen? Divorce, the death of your spouse, your own health problems from all the stress related to caregiving. It's researched. It's a fact. You're laid off from work. You don't have the job skills to get a new job. If you're working, Keep learning new skills. Learn technology even if you don't like it. Do whatever it takes to remain employable. Never assume that your job is going to be there 6 months from now or 12 months from now. Not that you should worry about it all the time, but you want to be confident that if something happens, you have a backup plan and you have the skills to get another job. Because of all of these statistics, it is so important to consider, how will you financially support yourself when you're older? If you're a caregiver, you may never marry. You may never have children. Your sick spouse may die first, leaving you alone. And when you spend all of the family money to pay for the care of a sick spouse, what's left to take care of you if you didn't make a financial plan with long-term care insurance or savings to take care of you? So, the first step in all of this is to really consider remaining employed, if at all possible, while you're a caregiver. If you're young and you're thinking of having children, consider the costs. Do you need to save for potential time out of the workforce or put a nest egg together to pay for childcare so that you can work? While we don't want to think about these financial trade-offs and this lost opportunity time, it's part of life. Everybody does it. And if you have parents, no matter how old they are, start talking to them today about money and their retirement savings plan and their health. You may be shocked to know that they don't have a plan because they think that you are their plan. If you're the caregiver, you may have no plan. Encourage your parents to find a financial planner who can advise them, and find one for yourself. Because not everybody's good at managing money. I mean, how many of you have a financial budget that you stick to every month? Or are you just spending and the money comes in and it goes out and you don't know where anything goes? Most people need a little bit of help from people who know more than they do about budgeting and financial planning and planning for retirement and all of that. For your parents, if they don't have money, research the Medicaid program in your state. It's the public benefit that helps low-income elderly receive care. Do this at least 5 years before you think your parent might need care, if they're limited financially. Don't wait. There's a lot of planning that has to be done. There's a lot of balls that have to be juggled. Waiting to make this plan, it's only going to cause more stress for you and more problems for your health if you're the caregiver. Talk about caregiving and health today in your family, with your children. Set boundaries with your parents about their potential need for help. And if you're a parent and you still have an adult child living with you, or one who's financially dependent on you, encourage them to move out of the house, get a job, live independently. You will need your money to take care of yourself, not to take care of an adult child who you have allowed not to become independent because you felt sorry for them or because you took care of them. Stop it today. If you're a caregiver and you have children, let your parents know that your children are your priority and your marriage is your priority. You can help them, but the time may be limited. Encourage your parents to take care of themselves. We all have a duty to take care of ourselves. Talk about health and well-being. Encourage your parents to go have their annual physicals. And do the same for yourself if you're the caregiver. Why? Because you can catch small health problems before they become huge health problems that can be expensive to manage. Being proactive about self-care, it's not selfish. It's practical. And it can make such a big difference in your health, beginning wherever you are in life. Because if you're not healthy today, are you going to be healthier tomorrow if you don't do something? Probably not. If you're not taking steps to improve your health and remain independent, regardless of what age you are, you're going to need somebody to take care of you. And who is that? You might become one of the 60 plus people who has to retire earlier than imagined. What then? Statistics confirm that family caregivers, they often become sicker than the persons they care for because of the emotional and the physical stress, and they're trying to juggle life. If you watched your parents, you know that being sick and using healthcare services, it's expensive. The co-pays, the health insurance, the tests, all of this. You may know this if you see your parent spending a large portion of their income on healthcare, especially if they have multiple health problems. Or if you're a spousal caregiver, are the healthcare needs of your spouse bankrupting your bank account and your health? So if you are the caregiver watching all of this going on, how can you plan to avoid financially bankrupting your time, your relationships, your money, and your life? Do you know the financial strains that caregivers and older adults experience the most? In addition to losing a job, medical expenses, and an unaffordable mortgage. Those are the top reasons that people file for bankruptcy. They all can be avoided or at least managed if we're proactive. Living a good life, regardless of what age you are, it really depends on how you're planning and the discussions that you're having in your family today and how you are taking care of yourself. Set goals and set expectations for yourself and your aging parents and your children. Be selfish with your time and the time and opportunities you trade. Go talk to your parents today, regardless of their age, and especially if they're still working. If they're healthy, they may be able to work a few years longer than they expected to account for all of these unexpected things that happen that cost more than we could ever imagine. Talk to your parents about buying long-term care insurance and look into it for yourself. This is voluntary insurance that pays for costs of care when you're older. In-home caregivers that today, anywhere between $30 and $50 an hour. A care community, $3,000 a month, $12,000 a month. Memory care for persons with Alzheimer's. A nursing home, $300 to $500 a day. Most people can't afford these costs. So look into long-term care insurance. Teach your children from when they're very young, 5 years old, about being financially responsible and taking care of their health. Model good behavior for your kids. Model the same behavior for your aging parents. Imagine how you can just be ahead of the curve of all of this caregiving and financial and these relationship stressors. If you just start talking about it today, if you just start planning today. Now, I admit, while these conversations may be too late, if you're caring for an aging parent who didn't plan and they have a lot of health issues, you can still change your life and your future and the future of your kids. If you're having trouble planning, you can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. Go to my website, PamelaDWilson.com, click on the Services tab, and then Elder Care Consultant. There's also a link below this video to my website, free programs on my website, a lot of other helpful information. I thank you all so much for being here and for hanging out until the end of this video. So important. Now it's time for you to press that share button. Who in your life can you share this video with? I will see you all again soon in another video.